Welcome to Open Door. I'm Vince Robinson, and my guest is Glennise Turner, a.k.a. Ms.Moone, also Ms.Moone.motivates at YouTube and Instagram. Welcome to Open Door.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, well, I'm really happy to have you, and I always start the shows off telling folks how I know folks. And I don't know you. I just saw you online a few weeks ago. We're Facebook friends, and one of your videos popped up, and I decided to take a listen. And I was intrigued because you were talking about motivation, and you were also talking about ways that people can liberate themselves financially. We're in the midst of an economic reset, not only in this country, but there's a global phenomenon occurring right now relative to cryptocurrency markets and currency and all that other kind of stuff. So you were doing your live talk, and you were just talking about the whole idea that people can let their money work for them instead of working for their money. And I was intrigued about that, being involved in a few things that enable people to do the same thing. So let's just start by talking about economics and why you decided to pursue that lane so that you could make life-changing decisions.
Well, so in my blood, I have like this hustling bone that's like, I have to feed it. So because I, pretty much just grew up working a job, working more than one job at times, because I had to get the money. I got to get this money. I got to grind. And then that was just the mentality, and was just like working profusely and just overexerting myself, working more than one job just to make ends meet that seem to never get introduced to each other. And it's like, now that we have these platforms that are out here and available to, and I really hate to use the word average people, but I mean, we know what I'm saying when I say, just the average Joe, someone who is working a job and is okay and comfortable in their life, but they want to retire sooner than they can. And so with these platforms allows us to do that. And so I do have to be very careful when I do talk about people working their jobs. I never want to come off like I'm insulting anybody, because we need people to work jobs. You know what I mean? We need that. That's just, what makes sense in how businesses operate is employees. But I don't want people to get stuck there and comfortable and can't retire till after 60. Like, how can you really move around and live life after 60? Because you're going to slow down a little bit. You'll be a little more relaxed and, more reserved, and that's okay. But I want to be able to move around and shake before I'm 60 and create my own, when I can come and go. So that's what I want. And that's what I want for other people. So, yeah, I see the platforms. I'm taking advantage of it. And we are seeing a return on our investments.
Well, when you talk about ordinary people, regular guy, Joe Blow on the street, if you read Robert Kiyosaki's book, and I'm sure if you haven't read it, you know about it, he describes those four types of people. So you have the people who are employees, then you have the people who are business owners, and then you have people who are investors, and then you have that final class of folks, that 1% of folks. And the folks who are the employees have no idea of what the lives of those who are in that fourth category are, because they're so caught up in this notion that you have to work. You have to trade your time for money. And I heard you talk about that. So you have found something that enables you to flip that paradigm. When you are a business owner, you're also trading your time for money. It's just that you're your own boss and you get out of it what you put in, but there's still limitations because you are trading your time for money. And then you have folks who have this situation that involves passive income. And the beauty of it is that you can go to sleep at night and wake up the next morning and have more than you had when you laid your head down on the pillow. And having that experience in my life, it's a beautiful thing. And when you find these things out, you just want to tell everybody that you know, but everybody doesn't get it. So talk about the frustration of having the knowledge that you have, knowing that you can do things that will enable your money to work for you, and then trying to pass this knowledge on to others and getting the resistance that you get.
Okay, so let me see how I want to answer this question here, because what we have, and I know a lot of people think they have it, like everybody feels like, oh, this is it. No, this is it. Okay, so with me though, what we do have is so amazing and phenomenal, and it just makes so much sense. It's almost like I really don't have too much frustration in this season, because people are really seeing what we have, and I don't know, it's just like I did have frustrations years ago with a lot of things that I've tried and had my hands in, and I knew people's situation and was like, man, I don't care what it is, you need to do this because this system does work. Okay, but with what I'm doing right now, it's just so amazing. I'm not even just saying this for listeners. It's just really makes that much sense to, step out there and put your money in something that will really will increase within less than 3 months. You'll see it happening. So the frustration level is pretty low right now, because people that I do talk to, a lot more people are gravitating towards this than I thought would.
Yes. Yeah. People are kind of waking up, and it's by necessity. So we're not going to go into what those platforms are, but what I do want to talk about is some of the things that we kind of take for granted. For instance, we have checking accounts and saving accounts, right? So I have a savings account with one of the major banks here in town and across the country. And a few years back, I took most of the savings out, and I left $1,000 in that account 3 years ago. And I went to my account about a month ago, and I checked the balance, and it was $1,000.71. And then a few weeks later, I went back, or maybe a month or so later, I went back to my account, and I looked at it, and I had gained a whopping 1 cent in interest. And I'm like, wow, wow, this is what I'm doing with my money. And I know that the banks are in a position right now where they're headed towards 0% interest. And eventually they may get to negative interest. And there are some countries in the world that actually have negative interest on bank accounts. Now, what that means is that if you have negative interest, then you actually have to pay the bank to hold your money. It's bad enough that you go to an ATM that's not on your bank's network and you have to pay to get your money out. But to have money sitting in an account and then pay a bank to hold your money, there's something criminal about that. Not that it's against the law, because it's lawful, but as far as I'm concerned, it's criminal. And many of us have our money in those types of vehicles, or they have their money in 401ks that in a good year might earn 8% or 9%. Some boast that they might earn 20% on a yearly basis. But the things that you're involved in and the things that I'm involved in are things that pay interest on a daily basis. I mean, I'm in one program that pays 0.5% interest every day, not every year. And the beauty of this platform is that I go into it every day and I just reinvest the interest that I've earned, and that allows whatever you're putting in to grow even faster. So there are alternatives to what we're doing with money right now. And right now is a very pivotal time to start doing these kinds of things, because the value of $1 is steadily on the decline. And things, as you know, are costing more. I mean, yesterday, I paid $2.89 for a gallon of gas. And a year ago, I paid $2 a gallon for a gallon of gas. You know, that's almost a 33% increase in less than a year.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. I said that last week. I remember when gas was 99 cents.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little bit older than you, Ms. Moone, and I remember paying 25 cents for a gallon of gas. So,
Wow.
yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, man.
It was a beautiful thing. I mean, you could fill up a tank for $2 or $3, you know.
Yeah.
Now,
Wow.
and if you drive one of those gas guzzling vehicles, you know, it's going to cost you $60, $70 to fill it up. And you drive around on that gas for 2 or 3 days, and then you find yourself at the pump once again. Yes. So let's shift gears and talk about, you know, this whole idea about motivation, because you're not just talking about making money. You're also talking about, you know, making decisions in life that enable you to live a better life. So where does this idea of motivation and Ms. Moone come from?
Well, the idea definitely comes from, you know, being able to lift our own spirits up when things are down, when things seem to be going awry, when things seem to be like just not coming together, and just all these negative things and negative ways we can look at life. I want to push and motivate people to look at it, you know, from another perspective. See it how it can be better. What's the lesson in it? That is like one of my biggest things I've been doing recently for myself. Is like, okay, what's the lesson in this? Just like what I said about on my live yesterday is, you know, I really was traumatized by something, and what's the lesson in it? I got the lesson immediately. Okay. So I just want people to be motivated. And what does that look like for them? What motivates you? Because a lot of people aren't motivated by money. We think that's what motivates people, but people want to move and do when they want to, how they want to, and they want to create what it looks like. Really anybody who does want to just, you know, chill out and be comfortable and be cool and okay, that is perfectly fine. Everybody, you know, doesn't like the same things, but we have to at least put ourselves in position to be leading by example in some areas of our life, but we have to be motivated by something. So I always talk about mindset that ties in with it, because we can make all the money and we can hustle and grind, but if we don't know what to do with the money and how to make the money work for us so that we don't have to keep hustling and bustling and grinding and, you know, doing all these things going out our way to get this money, it's like, okay, well, how can I make this money work for me? But first, you got to be motivated to even want to even take that route.
Okay, so it starts with motivation. You're listening to Open Door with Vince Robinson. My guest is Glennise Turner, a.k.a. Ms. Moone, and we're going to talk about some of the other things that she's doing aside from stacking her chips when we come back. You're listening to Open Door on 95.9 FM, WOVU, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station. Back in a minute. What can you do in the battle against COVID-19? Your first task, wear a mask, protect yourself and others. Armor up, armor up. Give those hands a 20-second shower with soap and water. Armor up, armor up. Give others space 6 feet just in case. Armor up, armor up. Get good nutrition, ingest for digestion. Armor up, armor up. Vitamin C, D3, and more. Armor up, armor up. Elderberries, zinc, and echinacea from the store. Armor up, armor up. Get some fresh air. Go climb some stairs. Armor up, armor up. Let go of stress. Make sure you rest. Armor up, armor up. Your breath is the key to life. Strengthen your immune system, follow the guidelines, and win the battle against COVID-19. Armor up, armor up. You're listening to Open Door with Vince Robinson. My guest is Glennise Turner, a.k.a. Ms. Moone. She has a YouTube channel. It's called Ms. Moone Motivates, and Moone is spelled M-O-O-N-E. She's also on Instagram, MsMoone.motivates, on IG. Welcome back to the show. So I wanted to talk about some of the other things that you're doing. I know you're involved in radio and you have the YouTube channel, so you're involved in broadcasting. How did that happen for you?
Well, I decided, I'm a vocalist. I started out doing spoken word, which is something that you're absolutely known for. I appreciate that talent you have. I started out doing spoken word, and that was pretty short-lived. I didn't do it very long. I really got inspired by a lot of artists in the city, in the underground scene is what we like to call it. A lot of talent in Cleveland, Ohio. And so then I started singing. So I converted over into singing. So I was doing a lot of hooks for a lot of local artists, and got into a group called Ladies of the Land, LOL. It was a play on words. It was, shout out to Chevy Blue. She's like a legend in the city. And she came up with the name, and it was just so like perfect. So anyway, I started my singing, and then I ended up going to school at the Ohio Media School. Some people feel how they feel about it. Some people have been there, done that. And I went in a later part of my life, which was a few years ago. And so a lot of people did tell me, though, like, you should have been in radio. You should have been doing this. Like, you are perfect for it. And I just, I didn't see that at the time for my life. But now that I have explored going to school and learned some things, I decided to absolutely have my own radio show, which I do on Mind Days. I refer to Monday as Mind Day because it keeps me mindful of what my journey is and what I'm focused on and what my mission is. My mission is to mold mindsets beyond the millionaire, to move mountains beyond the millionaire mindset, to mold mindsets, to move mountains beyond the millionaire mindset. So that is what I'm focused on. So I got my radio show on Mind Day at 5 to 6 p.m. And what else? Oh, the YouTube channel. And yeah, I'm looking to have more of a platform in radio and doing some more podcasting. We're getting ready to add to our schedule and looking for some more co-hosts because we're looking to have a weekly spot, Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. on the Nerve DJs platform.
Okay. So what kind of feedback, what kind of response are you getting, particularly from your YouTube channel? I know as one who has a YouTube channel, it takes a lot of work, and you got to play that. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell and all that other kind of stuff. And, depending on what you're about, you get a response or you don't, and typically when you're talking about the kinds of things that you're talking about, not being as salacious as other things, it's not you on your YouTube channel twerking or doing something that,
right,
that's going to attract based on your physical. What kind of a response are you getting from folks with your platform there?
Well, because we just put it out, maybe 2 weeks ago, we just started the YouTube platform. So we only have 2 videos up right now. We're working on our 3rd one. But like you said, it is a lot of work that goes behind it. So I need for people to know that when you put together a YouTube channel and you're putting on content that it's serious for you, and it's kind of like passing around the bucket or it kind of puts me in a mindset of, begging on the street, saying, just like, subscribe, and comment, gives feedback, because we do need that feedback. And, some people just don't have the time to do feedback, but it's okay. But at least like, comment, share, and subscribe. So it's kind of like, passing the bucket around. Hey, whatever your contribution is, we appreciate it. So right now it's just freshly getting started. I'm looking to increase my views. We're putting together the marketing campaign as we speak. That's being put together to promote the YouTube channel, because you do have to have marketing behind it. So it's not just putting together a channel and thinking you hope people look at it. You gotta put it out there, and you gotta make sure people are seeing it and putting it in front of people.
Mm-hmm. I watched a video this morning, and it was a brother providing an education about the recording industry, and the hook of it was Anita Baker. Anita Baker kind of retired last year before. She did that farewell tour and so forth and so on. But there was more to that than was being said, and they attributed her retirement to health issues that she had. But when you drill down to the real facts about it, it really was more of her wanting her masters back. And, with recording artists, if you don't own the masters, then you really don't own your product, and the record company owns you. So I think what was said was that after a 30-year period, you are entitled to have things given back to you, and I think she's still on a quest to do that. But in the process, it was also talked about, music sharing platforms like Spotify, which are notorious for exploiting artists. If you could have 1 million listens or 2 or 3 million listens, and you really, just like when you sell a CD or a record, you just get pennies on them, maybe even less than that. So, it's just really sad that paradigm exists. So with a platform like YouTube, the likes and the subscriptions are important. And it's something that people do because they have hopes of monetizing their content. But I just wonder, from your perspective, if you're looking at YouTube as a platform for monetization, or is it just more so important for you to be able to get your message out?
Well, it's absolutely first and foremost, way more important than getting the information out than capitalizing on it, because I said it earlier on my video. The more people I focus on helping and getting this information out to, I will be taken care of. I can't solely focus on got to get it. Like, it was kind of like the mentality I had growing up was I got to get it, I got to hustle, I got to pay my bills. So it was like really all about me. And so now what I've learned, I have to focus on getting this information out, being a resource for people to get this information. So that for me is first that. Down the line, yes, absolutely, great, please. Let's monetize it. Let's capitalize on it. Let's make money with it, to then inspire someone else to get information out to people, to have their YouTube going, and so on and so on.
Okay. So as we have this conversation, you are down in the Orlando area. I heard you mention that you were staying in a B&B in Kissimmee. Orlando is actually a place that I have visited several times. Yeah, I was in the habit of taking golf vacations. So, every spring, late winter, I fly down to Orlando area, Kissimmee, Davenport, and we rent a big ass house. We would rent a big house. And swimming pool, jacuzzi, and all of that. And we play golf during the day and kind of relax at night and get away from Cleveland. So what's it like for you being down there? What was your travel experience like?
Mentioning the traveling experience, I am not a fan of flying. I'm so not a fan of flying. But somebody told me a little while ago, they said, I can see you traveling a lot. They just see that for my life. They feel like that's what I'm going to be doing. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know I am. And I'm like, oh, I got to fly most places. I'm trying to drive a lot of places. Like, we got an event coming up in Florida, all-white yacht party with one of my investment groups. And that's my birthday weekend, June 25th. Whoop, whoop. And so my mom is talking about driving. And I'm a road trip person. Even after the car accident on the road, I still I'd rather drive than to be in the air. But when I got here and we landed, and we were, driving to get to the, let us out or whatever. Seemed like forever. I'm like, we're still on here riding, and we ain't got to the door yet. The power shut off and cut back on. I said, I'm not even about to have these thoughts about if we were in the air. Oh, I'm not even about to entertain that. I'm not going to entertain that.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh my.
You said the power on the plane shut off?
Yes, it flickered off.
Oh, okay, that. Okay.
And oh my God. It was,
Was this your first flight?
No, it was not.
Okay.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Woo! But I'm telling you, I almost took myself, and we'll do that. We'll do that to ourselves. Like, oh, what if this and that? No, we ain't even talking about that. I'm here. Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, let me assure you that it's much safer outside of the pandemic.
I know.
It's much more safer to be in the air than it is to be on the ground, because you have much fewer accidents
Yeah.
in the air as you do on the ground. So,
I know.
push that aside. But Ms.Moone, now look, you're a jet setter now. You're in the money stacking business, and you're going to be interacting with folks that it's going to require you to get in a plane and go somewhere. So
I know. I'm meditating on it.
Okay. Well, I want to motivate you to be
please,
less fearful of flying and accept your new station in life of being this international person, because, hopefully, what you're doing right now will enable you to go to even other countries and spread the message that you're spreading.
I'm actually going to Jamaica next month. Oh my God. I just spoke it last week, and the question on one of our Zooms was, if you could go anywhere in the world and money wasn't an issue, where would you go? And I said, you know what, Jamaica. I definitely like that is one of my bucket lists. I've never been outside the country.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that.
It's funny to hear you say that after you shared with me what happened to you on your experience last Thursday.
Right? Yes. The positive vibes and positive thoughts flowing and get to my destination safely and flying the friendly skies.
Okay. Well, stay positive about that. I've been to Jamaica a few times, and I can tell you that it's a nice place to be. It does have its issues. One of the main things that you will be confronted with is poverty there.
Oh, okay.
But that's not an unusual occurrence in certain parts of the Caribbean as well. But you'll be able to navigate that. In the time that we have left, I want to give you an opportunity to promote your media and the programs that you're doing right now. Again, we can't specify the investment programs that you're in, but I do want to give you an opportunity to let folks know how they can connect with you and how they can hear what you do. Okay,
awesome. I appreciate this. Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity and the platform you have allowed me to be on today. I was actually going to have a spot on WOVU at some point, but when COVID hit, they shut down those parts. So I thank you for allowing me to be heard on this platform. That's big. That's big news. Can't wait to promote this so that people can hear us. All right. So yes. Thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share on this platform. This is a big deal. This is major. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I can be found on Instagram at MSMoone.motivates. MSMoone.motivates on Instagram. Facebook is Moone, and Moone is always spelled with an E, Moone. Ms.Moone Supermoon on Facebook. And my new YouTube channel, please subscribe and leave some feedback, watch the videos and share and comment and all that good stuff. I know that sounds like a lot of work, but it's not. But we need more people to hear what I'm sharing and what I do have to offer. That is Ms.Moone Motivates on the YouTube channel. And my radio show on Mind Day. I refer to Monday as Mind Day. Mind Day at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. You can catch me at WNRV1081.com. That is online radio. New podcast coming soon, and more radio play as well, other platforms. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, Ms. Moone, thank you for joining me, and much success to you.
Thank you.
All right. Peace and blessings. 95.9 FM, WOVU, Open Door with Vince Robinson. We'll be right back.
Are you a renter in Cleveland and facing eviction? WOVU 95.9 FM, the United Way of Greater Cleveland, and the Legal Aid Society wants you to know that you have rights. Certain Cleveland families have the right to an attorney in eviction cases. If you rent your home in Cleveland, have any kids living in that home, and meet low-income guidelines, free help is available. If you think you qualify, contact Legal Aid immediately at 216-687-1900. That's 216 888-687-1900. You can also apply by dialing 211 on your phone. After a quick screening, you'll know if you can get a lawyer's help for free. Learn more at freeevictionhelp.org. That's freeevictionhelp.org. This message is brought to you by the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland, the United Way of Greater Cleveland, and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Welcome back to Open Door. My guest is Allamis Negale, spoken word artist, and a whole bunch of other things that we will get into. Welcome to Open Door.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so you have a handle called Thursdays Angel. So let's talk about Thursdays Angel. Why Thursdays Angel?
So my dad is Nigerian. He named me Thursdays Angel, and you guys have to give me a moment. My dad's passed away not too long ago. So I was born on a Thursday, and my name Allamis means Thursday. My middle name is Malika, which means angel, and from the Hausa tribe of Nigeria, which is a tribe that I belong to. So if you say Thursday's Angel, in actuality, you're just translating my name, which is Allamis Negale.
Okay. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's something that we have in common.
Yeah.
Because I was born on a Thursday, too.
Awesome.
And like you, I am also Aries.
We have many things in common.
So many things in common. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that, and I really appreciate the Nigerian aspect of your heritage. So,
thank you.
Your father is Nigerian. You spent all of your life in Cleveland, or have you been over there?
Yeah. So I've spent all my life in Cleveland. I have plans to go over there this year, so I hadn't had the opportunity just yet to visit.
Okay. So at the top, we mentioned that you are a spoken word artist and you're doing things within that realm, and you're also connected with dance. So let's talk about your cultural pedigree.
So as far as spoken word, I've been doing spoken word since about 8 or 10. When I was younger, I had difficulties connecting with reading. So I was placed in this class, which was called Chapter 1 class, and it is kind of really took its time to have that one-on-one teaching to help us students learn how to read. And so from there, I read a poem from Eloise Greenfield, a children's author, and she wrote the poem, Harriet Tubman Didn't Take No Stuff. And at the time, as we are children, as we're entering into elementary school and we're learning about our culture, a lot of the culture that we're learning is really victimized. You know, we were slaves, we were taken, we were this. And so I think I connected to it because as a youth, I didn't want to be connected to something that was so diminishing. I wanted to see the light in it. And when I learned about, you know, she's writing a poem, Harriet Tubman didn't take no stuff, wasn't afraid of nothing either. She ain't come to this world to be no slave and wasn't going to stay one either. And I just was like, yes. That's what I wanted to do. That I wanted to duplicate that energy. I wanted to duplicate that power, not only from that poem, but what that poem was about. So that's how I got into poetry. Dancing has always been a part of me. I used to watch, you know, back in the day, we didn't have cable. We had PBS. And so they would have like these orchestras playing with ballerinas and African dance and all that stuff, and wanted to be connected to my roots. Something I really immersed myself in. So I always was dancing, always had a leotard. So any class I can get into, I, you know, got into and got involved with anything dance. So.
Okay. So having been associated with you for a few years, I know that you've been involved in quite a number of programs that involve your art and young people. Could you talk about some of the things that you've been able to accomplish as I guess, as an artist and as an activist? Yes.
So the beautiful thing that I've been involved with was I connected with the Martin Luther King Rec Center as well as the Salvation Army. One of the events I did with the youth, the first group of girls, I think they were like 14 to 19 years old, and we were talking about Black girl magic and, you know, just being a Black girl in the city of East Cleveland, because there's a lot of stereotypes that come along with being from East Cleveland. And we talked about that. We talked about self-love. We talked about how to love ourselves, and that was a wonderful dialogue and conversation with the Salvation Salvation Army. I worked with a little bit younger girls at that point. I think they were like 12 to like 14. And we talked about different, again, self-love, and we put some movement in there, and we did dance, and it was just a wonderful situation connecting with the youth. With that, I've been able to do some youth enrichment classes in Florida. Recently, I'm doing a youth dance class every Saturday at Little Giants Gym. So it's absolutely free for the youth to come in. And we just kind of work on dance and also yoga. We do a little bit of, it's basic because I'm not, basic, just yoga stretches or just stretches. I don't want to. And then we go into different dance types, African, ballet, jazz, hip hop. And we also focus on self-development. So it's about, we're not only just focusing on our physical and dance, but the confidence that comes behind dancing. So that's some of the things I've been able to do with the youth that I'm, super proud of.
Okay. And what has been your motivation to connect with young people?
Growing up, it was what saved my life. It showed me how to be responsible, going through a lot of different things in East Cleveland, and not knowing how to cope with it. I was like, okay, let's fight. I was always fighting. I was getting suspended. I was getting in trouble. And once I learned how to write and dance, I learned how to respond to things, which led me to be responsible. And so knowing what it did for me, how people came back and gave back to me, and how that enhanced my life to take the next step. I feel like it's my duty. I have, to give back and give what was given to me to become the woman I'm able to become. So that motivates me.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of women, you recently attended a poetry slam. You want to tell us about that?
Yes, that was amazing. In Dallas, a few weeks ago, I attended the Woman of the World Poetry Slam International. There were women from Barbados, New Mexico, California. We had Kansas City in the house, New York, Hawaii, Dallas, Cleveland. So, just to go there and be amongst all those beautiful, gifted women, that was a prize within itself. But to become ranking, 10th National Woman of the World Poet, I was just like, no words can express just the gratitude for being able to place in that position. So first 2 days, I actually placed first. Second day, I placed second. And then once final stage happened, due to certain technicalities that I won't get into, I end up going ranking 10th. But like I said, it was still truly a wonderful experience and a blessing.
Yes. I've been involved in those national poetry stages, and I have to tell you, you can never be prepared for something like that. It's, when you get there and you see all this talent, and you hear what people are doing, and you see what they're doing, and it's like, just like the title, wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So tell us about the themes of the poems that you did in your performances.
Yeah, so I do a wide range of poetry, and so for the piece, I did a piece on AIDS awareness, which I think is very important, just to talk about sexual awareness and sexual protection within itself, protecting yourself, mind, body, and spirit when you're connecting with someone. I also did another piece. It's called 2020, and it starts off talking about George Floyd and his daughter. It starts off with Black orphans are being born every day, as a true victim is the fatherless child that would never be able to play with her father again. No more donuts with dads or daddy-daughter dances. Hell, he can't even walk her down the aisle. She is only 6 and have yet to realize that his death of last breath has changed the world and her life forever. So that's a little small part of that beginning poem that I did. Also did a one that kind of talks about just how we're looked at as women. It kind of, I like to kind of tell a story and kind of have a plot twist. So that one has a plot twist, and it talks about how we're viewed as African-American women. But what we really want is just, we want love, support. We want to be noticed. We want to be seen. Malcolm X says the most unappreciated woman is the Black woman. So that focuses on that. And then I did another women's empowerment poem that talks about women and domestic violence. And not only just women and domestic violence, but what's the root of that? What's the root of that young man? Why does that young man feel like it's okay to be the aggressor. And so it talks about his journey through growing up and some of the abuse he experienced, and how can we become balanced with the masculine and feminine energy. So those are some of the things that I talk about. Like I said, it's a wide range of things that I can get into, but for that competition, those are some of the things I focused on.
Mm-hmm. And what were you hearing from your counterparts?
Honestly, when I was there, I wanted to experience the experience. So I didn't even know that I was ranked number one first day. I heard the scores, but I didn't hear the scores because I just wanted to enjoy the moment. And I wanted to treat it like it was just a regular open mic. But I mean, I've great reviews. They really enjoyed what I had to say. They really enjoyed the storytelling of it. That's what poetry is. You're telling a story. And I think a lot of them were shocked because they were like, what are you here for? Because I've never been on that circuit before. So, but a lot of amazing feedback and encouragement. And I gained a lot more mentorship from there, from some amazing poets. So.
Okay. So you got to fill us in on who won and what their piece was about.
Yes. So Lady Breon, I want to make sure I get these names correctly. Lady Breon won. And one other poet, I'm trying to remember what her name was. I want to say Yanni. Let me check because I don't want. But Lady Breon from Baltimore, she's amazing. Just the way she speaks, her diction, her poise, and she had poems. Woman empowerment poems too. The young lady that won, this is what I really loved about it. The other young lady that won with her, it was a tie at the end, and they could either go head to head with like a 1 minute poem at the end and see who wins, or they could split the money. And they decided to split the money. And I was like, that's woman's empowerment. That's goddess energy right there. Because one thing I always say is that when you put love in it, you don't compete, you complete. And so that's what I saw, with them sharing that award. So, I regret that I can't remember the other young lady's name. Do forgive me. She's a sweet spirit. We actually said to each other, hugged each other. She's like, thank you so much for your energy. So, I'm probably going to post something about them too, just to kind of, give them the credit just to deserve, because they're both amazing poets. She did a poem about suicide and, being in a relationship with somebody who constantly wants to commit suicide. So that was very impactful.
Yes. And I saw some of the video that you posted to your page. I noticed that there were, at least what I thought appeared to be men. Was it a mixed situation in terms of performances? Was it exclusively women? How did that go?
Yeah. So a lot of the teams, they have men in their teams. And so these teams have been practicing and working together for, however long. So we didn't omit the men when it came to the group pieces. The individual, that was just woman, but the IPS were man and woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're listening to Opening Door with Vince Robinson. My guest is Allamis Negale, also known as Thursdays Angel, and she is a spoken word artist par excellence. She's also been a feature at Larchmere Arts more than once. As a matter of fact, she has won a poetry slam or two at Larchmere Arts, so she's no joke. We're going to get more into her poetic pedigree and a few other things when we return. Listening to Open Door on 95.9 FM WOVU.
Are you a renter in Cleveland and facing eviction? WOVU 95.9 FM, the United Way of Greater Cleveland, and the Legal Aid Society wants you to know that you have rights. Certain Cleveland families have the right to an attorney in eviction cases. If you rent your home in Cleveland, have any kids living in that home, and meet low-income guidelines, free help is available. If you think you qualify, contact Legal Aid immediately at 216-687-1900. That's 216-687-1900. You can also apply by dialing 211 on your phone. After a quick screening, you'll know if you can get a lawyer's help for free. Learn more at freeevictionhelp.org. That's freeevictionhelp.org. This message is brought to you by the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland, the United Way of Greater Cleveland, and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Hello, Cleveland. This is Safety Director Carrie D. Howard of Cleveland's Department of Public Safety. Are you passionate about serving our community? If so, consider applying today for a career in public safety. We are seeking a diverse group of young and motivated individuals representative of the people to join our safety forces. The Division of Police offers a rewarding career, a competitive salary with exceptional benefits and job security. Applications are being taken now. Go to governmentjobs.com/careers/Cleveland. I encourage you to apply today.
This message is brought to you by the City of Cleveland and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voice is United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
We're back. Open Door with Vince Robinson and my guest, Allamis Negale, also known as Thursdays Angel. When we took the break, we were talking about the World Poetry Slam and the experience that you had there. I'm just reflecting on a few experiences that I had. I went to the National Poetry Slam in 2003 and 2004. And when I got back, I was suffering from a bad case of poetry overload. I had heard so much, and it's like I didn't want to see another poetry slam. I didn't want to hear a poetry slam. I had to just disengage for a few months, which turned into a few years, and it was followed by a writer's block. I just kind of lost my interest in writing because I felt like I had said everything that I could say. And then I reached a pivotal moment where I had to write about something, and it just opened up the floodgates. Do you ever experience times when it's difficult for you to put pen to paper and express?
Absolutely. Writer's block is real. And if I kind of just can piggyback on what you said as far as absorbing all of that, I call it cathartic poetry, because a lot of it is, a lot of us poets, we talk about experiences, and a lot of us have experienced some traumatic things. So you are, feeling all that energy of depression, anxiety, or even if they're over, they're talking about it. So, but for me, I always use the opportunity of writer's block to experience life. I feel like that's the universe telling you, okay, it's time to tap back into source so you can feel more things to write about. So it can give you a little bit more coating on your pen to write that much, to have that much enrichment on your writing. So I don't look at it as a writer's block. We have to be careful of the words we say. I look at it as a moment of just enrichment. It's a time for stillness. It's a time for enrichment. It's a time to collect everything you need to collect. Experience wise, that might be a time you might need to go in nature, look at nature more, and see how nature flows, and see how you can connect that to your poetry. Do you need to maybe spend more time with family? Maybe those emotions could connect more into your poetry. Do you need to try different foods? It's just, that's that moment to really indulge in life. When you're having that so-called block. It's a block for a reason.
Speaking of moments, we've had a pause within the past year, and it has had a dramatic effect on lives all over the planet. Talk about your experience with that pause and how it has impacted you as an artist. We literally got sat down in a certain way because we couldn't gather and, share energy and performances. And then, you went to the Wild Slam, and so you're down in Dallas, and all these people are in one room, and it's a strange feeling. So talk about your experience with that. Yeah.
So for me, this experience, and I know it's different, has been pretty amazing, transformational. It literally has been a moment for me to do some self-reflection, to slow down, to build upon who I am as a person, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And with that, I've been able to enlighten and help other people. Even at the Woman of the World Poetry Slam, being able to, like I said, the biggest prize was being able to speak life into my beautiful woman and continue to express encouragement and empowerment amongst each other with just unity and love. And so that is one of the things that has been birthed from the pause, for me and a lot of my, other people who can kind of relate. It is daunting at times because you do see that everyone is not experiencing on the same plane as you are. So that has been more daunting, just, trying to make sure to encourage other people to navigate this energetically, and learning how to navigate this energetically, the pause. Because there were a lot of great things that happened out of it. When, there were fish that weren't even running in the river in Italy, and now they're running in the river. For a while in Miami, they hadn't had like a homicide, no homicides since 1950, and there were no homicides. So there were some beautiful things that came from it. And there were also some sad things that kind of came from it as well. But if anything, this pause taught me was to sit in your peace and stay connected to source.
Mm-hmm. So when you put things in those terms, it appears to me, and I'm absolutely certain of it, that you do have a cosmic connection with the universe.
Yes.
Where does that come from?
So my mother is the type of woman, she's always been connected. We were reading Deepak Chopra when I was 10. I was writing papers on Wayne Dyer at 10 years old. We were learning about chakras at a very young age. So I've always been exposed to that. Growing up, you're not too popular when you talk about those things. You're not too popular when you mention you're a weirdo, you're crazy, you're this. And so there's a lot of things that for a while I kind of let become dormant. But as life happened and experience happened, it just kept, what I was rooted in kept begging to be grown, and life watered it, and it just grew out of that. So the root of it is my mother. And then I would say just life experience and friends who, enhanced some of that, made it grow.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of what you do is steeped in feminine energy. What are your feelings about the Black woman right now as she is perceived? Yeah. And I'm asking you this question against the backdrop of things like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion and that whole WAP thing that happened last year. And then I'm juxtaposing that against what happened when Erykah Badu and Jill Scott shared space together, and they shared that beautiful, cosmic, feminine, divine. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So right now, I think my personal opinion, there is definitely a distortion in feminine energy. When you look at Cardi B and you look at Megan Thee Stallion, and I'm not taking away anything from their art. As a lyricist, especially Megan Thee Stallion, I think she's a wonderful rapper. I'm all about having fun and sexuality, but it's to the point where people don't understand that what they're mimicking is Lil' Kim. Let's be clear. Okay, Lil' Kim kind of started that, sexy rapper, because before that we had Lauryn Hill, we had Missy Elliott, we had Eve, MC Lyte, and they were kind of like, even though Lauryn Hill was a little bit feminine, they were kind of like, okay, I want to rap and I'm going to wear what the boys wear. And so Lil' Kim came on the scene and she was sexy. She was her and Foxy Brown were one of the first sexy ones. But we have to understand that who taught Lil' Kim how to be sexy? It was from a man's ideology. Biggie Smalls taught her how to be what his idea was sexy was. And then, from there you have the Nicki Minaj's and the Cardi B's and now Megan Thee Stallion. But we have to understand that, us as African American women, or I would say melanated women, we've always been over sexualized for breeding purposes, and not only for breeding purposes, because they just didn't understand the anatomy of melanated women because it looks so different. So we have to understand what's being perpetuated, and I always say to people, I said, birds, they go outside every day and they're naked. You don't see them humping around in action because it's a mental thing of sexuality. And I feel like it's distorted, and they're saying feminine empowerment, but you're being masculine with it. That competition and anger and cussing somebody out and that bitch, that's a very competitive masculine way. And I'm not to say that masculine way is aggressive and over. We're out of balance. That's an out of balance masculine way. So when we talk back into when we had the Erykah Badu and Jill Scott when they did their verses, and it was just so much love and just so much, I didn't feel like they were competing against each other. I feel like they were acknowledging each other's gifts and acknowledging each other's beauty, because lighting someone else's candle never dims your light. And that's true goddess energy. And so, Once I understood what's the difference between what a queen really was and a goddess, I tell people, I said, a queen fights for her throne. A goddess understands her throne is everywhere. She needs not to fight. So I think that's just what's happening. But with me understanding the laws of nature is that anything that is in disharmony has to come to a harmony, which is, or you say karmic, or a harmony. So even if we're out of balance with the feminine energy being extremely masculine, there is a harmony coming along. There is a balance coming along, because men are kind of getting tired of seeing it all. There's no room for imagination. And I'm all about wearing a sexy, form-fitting dress and accentuating your beauty as a goddess or as a woman. But you have to leave some room for the imagination, because it's also distorting the minds of our men as well. They're becoming over-sexualized. They're masturbating all the time. They're, and it's draining. You're draining all that energy out of you. And not that it's bad. Like I said, I'm not saying anything's bad. I'm all about balance. Not bad, just balance.
So with that said, I'm just reflecting on things that you said a few moments ago, and I'm just thinking about the contradiction in the name Megan the Stallion.
Which is a stallion is a horse, a male horse.
Right. So how do you explain that? I'm just curious from your perspective.
Yeah. So I understand, back in the day, it's like, oh, she built like a stallion. It was not necessarily that, that she was built like a male horse, which is a very interesting concept. But when you think about it, it is saying that's a masculine. She's built like a very masculine entity. So I just think that I understand where it comes from. I just think that it just needs to have balance, because I'm not going to lie and say I don't listen to some Megan Thee Stallion songs and dance to it and rock to it. I'm not saying I don't do it. I just say it just needs to be a balance. Like what we saw, I didn't see the awards, but I ended up seeing clips of it, how they were riding on each other and doing all that type of stuff. At what point is some stuff left for the bedroom? At what point, what is sacred? What is sacred?
That's a great question.
That's a question we have to ask ourselves. What is sacred? Nothing is. The weird thing is we can't say and do these things anymore, but we're showing so many different things that nothing's sacred. Nothing is kept a secret. I remember back in the day, and I'm kind of going on a different tangent, where guys should say, "Send me a picture," and that was like a big thing. Now you don't have to worry about everything's on social media. Everything's out there. So, us is when we have to protect ourselves, and our value is internal. Our values are the things so we have to just kind of reevaluate the value that we have of ourselves. But Megan Thee Stallion, she's young. She's like in her 20s. Lyrically, I think she's an amazing rapper. But she's just, she grew up in an era where she's fallen into what they're going to make her into what they want to do, a over-sexualized zombie, like they do all the female rappers. If you're not talking about sex, if you're not talking about how good you can make a man give it to him or give him some money from him, you will not get played. You will not get national attention. There's a rapper named Sarah, and she talks about being a goddess and feminine energy. You don't hear her on the radio. You never will. She's fully dressed. She's gorgeous though, but you'll never hear that. And so at what point do we stop letting them program our visualizations of ourselves, and we turn it off and we program ourselves of how we want to be?
That is absolutely the truth. No argument there. I think we need to make more of an effort to provide conscious awareness through music, because music is one of the ways that we can change the world. This time has flown by, but I don't want to miss an opportunity to let us know what you've got going. So social media contact and events real quick.
Yeah, social media, Thursdays_Angel on Instagram, Thursdays Angel on Facebook. Every Saturday is a free youth dance class at Little Giants Gym. There will be a showcase, Lyrically Gifted. We'll be hosting a showcase. I will be featured on that this Wednesday, the 28th. Look on my social medias for more information on that. Also, May 23rd, Laughing is Healing Part 2. We have a comedy showcase coming up there. And in June, we have another showcase, Floetry, The Sound of Cleveland. on June 23rd. So, and a lot of more amazing things in July. Is a nice, sweet surprise coming up for you all. I'll just say that.
All right. Well, we're going to keep our eyes peeled on the horizon for Allamis Negale, a.k.a. Thursdays Angel. Keep doing what you do, my sister.
Thank you.
The world is a better place because of you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really, truly appreciate this time and let me speak my piece. My fellow Aries and born on a Thursday.
That's right. I'm Yao Ansa, born on a Thursday.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks for joining us. And to you, the listening audience, thanks for listening to Open Door with Vince Robinson. Know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, make today your best day. Peace.